Hey guys! So, if you haven't already guessed by the title of this video and the thumbnail, this video is about concerts. Appropriately, I'm wearing a band t-shirt here from the Vamps tour a few years ago. But in this video, I'm going to be telling you some advice, my experiences and how to prepare for concerts. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you do, and let's get started. So on this scrappy piece of paper, I've made a list of some key points I think you should think about when planning on going to a concert, etc. First of all, make sure you check with your parents that it's actually okay that you can go. You should check with them that the date that you're planning on going, you're free, that they're happy to transport you places if needs be, because if you're dropping off at a train station, being actually taken to the venue, if you need them to be there with you because there's an age limit. And also, if you're buying your tickets online, which I generally do, you need to make sure you've got your parents' card details and their permission to actually spend their money, because you need permission, basically. Second thing is planning about tickets. You should make sure you know when they're being released and what websites, what time, etc. And also knowing what type of tickets you want and the price ranges there are, because there are many different concerts and many different tickets according to what concert you're going to. Some of them you can get standing tickets, but then you need to check age restrictions for that. Then also there's seating, but depending on where you sit in the place, depends how much the tickets cost. And you should make sure you're aware of this before buying tickets, because you don't want to be surprised and end up spending more than you were prepared to spend actually to begin with. That gets me on to thing number 3, when you're actually buying the tickets. I've had a lot of experience buying concert tickets myself, as I've been to many concerts, concert lover here, but I have some advice for you how to try and make sure you get tickets. What I've generally done when I've gone to concerts and trying to get tickets, I've always had a pre-sale code if I can. If you don't know what a pre-sale code is, it means you have access to some tickets that are sold earlier before the actual general release to the general public, and this means you should have a better chance of getting tickets, and if you don't get them in the pre-sale, you've got a second chance at the general sale, so it doubles the chances of getting tickets. The Vamps generally do it so if you pre-order or order an album, a bundle, something like that, you'll get the pre-sale code sent by email. But I've also had, when you've signed up to certain websites, I think Live Nation is one of the websites I've had twice before. If you sign up, you get a pre-sale code, which is probably a more obvious way of getting a pre-sale code, so more people will be trying to get that one, so be aware of that. And then I think I've also had one for McBusted before through Amazon. If you either bought something on there, or if you didn't want to buy it, you could click a link at the bottom. I read, not many people probably read it down there, but you could click that link so you didn't have to buy it, but you still got the pre-sale code. So that's my first tip for getting tickets. My second tip for getting tickets is looking up alternative websites. I'm not saying going to non-legit websites, because obviously that's kind of risky and sketchy, but sometimes there's more than one website. Even though the band may advertise you can buy them on a certain website, there are other just as good websites, and they've got a certain amount of tickets on there as well. I had this for the Tide concert I'm going to, or have been to, I don't know when this is going up. They were advertising them on this one website, and then I found out from the venue's Twitter page they were also selling them on another website. So everyone went to the main website, which the band had advertised themselves, but I went on to the other website as well, and that was where I ended up getting the tickets in the end, which was pretty lucky because there's only a limited amount for that concert. My next tip is making sure you've got your card details and post details already on the website and that you're signed up. This can save you a lot of time, because even though you've got the tickets in your basket sometimes and they say they're reserved, they can still be lost because of a high demand. My sister had this before. She had them saved in her basket, but they ended up losing them because of the high demand, and she hadn't actually put in all of her details. So this will save you time, and it can also guarantee that you're going to get the tickets. I can't promise, but it means you're more likely to. And the last thing is it's a good idea to have more than one device, because you can go overboard with this like I've done before. I think I've had 8 devices once just for one concert. But having maybe your parents' laptop, your own laptop, your phone, if you have an iPad, something like that, and having them all set up individually. This way, sometimes there's waiting rooms, you can go through quicker on some of them than others. Some of them may refresh more quickly, something like that, and it should hopefully double or increase your chances of getting the tickets that you want. Now that you've got your tickets, fingers crossed, there's a few things you can do to prepare yourself for the actual concert itself. First of all, I really recommend looking up the opening acts, because they are really good at hyping up the crowd before the actual concert, and most of the time they are really good. You should look them up, so if some of them have their own songs, that way you can sing along with them and it makes you more excited for the actual concert. Also, you might find another act or a band, an artist that you really like, and that's really good because it's introducing you to more music at the concert for your favourite band. And normally the supporting acts are very similar to the actual act, so you learn about, find new artists and bands that are very similar to the band you already love. A few days before the concert, I really recommend planning on what you're going to wear, how you're going to do your makeup, what you're going to do with your hair, because this can really save you time on the day, and that way you're not rushing, getting worried about it when you should be enjoying it, because building up to the concert is not as fun, but still enjoyable before going to the concert itself. You can get ready with friends, you can do it by yourself, it depends what works best for you, but yeah, prepare how you want to look on the day. Also, I recommend making sure there's enough storage space on your phone, because before now I've run out of space on my phone during a concert and had to quickly try and delete apps, which isn't really what you want to be doing. Another good point is getting a portable charger. I didn't get a portable charger until a year or so ago now, and it's really helpful for concerts. That way you don't have to be worrying about trying to save your battery on your phone, and you can normally put it in your pocket, have the wire coming out your pocket and holding the phone. I would look up the set list. It's up to you. Some people like being surprised by what the artist is going to sing or play, but personally I like knowing what songs they're going to sing. That way I can make sure I 100% know the words that I should already do already. But that way you know the order, you can know what's coming, and you won't be disappointed if they're not playing your favourite song. So you already found out you're disappointed a few days before when you've actually looked up the original set list. What I do when I find out the set list, I make a playlist on my phone and I listen to it to make sure I know what's coming. On the day of the concert, I really recommend checking the door opening times, because you don't want to be there late. You'll be let in, but you can sometimes miss the opening act. But then you don't want to be too early either if you're not prepared to wait around. Also, you should be aware of what tickets you've got depending on if you're up for waiting or not, because if you've got seats, there's not much point of getting there early because you've got your allocated seats. On the other hand, if you're standing, I'd recommend, if you're up for it and if you haven't got a parent going with you, going a few hours earlier. You can do it a few minutes earlier, like half an hour if you want, but myself and my friend Becky, who I've been to lots of concerts with, we get there quite early, quite a few hours early, and that way you can be more so guaranteed to get nearer the front. If it doesn't matter to you, then that's fine, but with standing, of course, you're a lot more squished, and then there's people the same height as you, or if not taller. If you're near the front, you should hopefully get a better view, so you should think about that as well. When you're at the actual concert, I really recommend getting merchandise. If you're not a big fan of the band or the artist, then I wouldn't bother, but if you semi-like them, or even if you're going to any concert, I personally like getting a programme. They're normally about £10 roughly. I think the maximum I've ever had is about 12 or 15. This is a really great way of remembering the concert. Even if you're not the biggest fan in the world, you've still got a bit of something to remember the night by. If you are a big fan of the artist, I would recommend setting yourself a limit of how much you're going to spend, how many things you're going to buy, or you should check online beforehand if you can. Sometimes people have leaked it on the internet what merchandise there is, how much it costs, etc. This way you're not surprised on the day that, oh, there's 3 t-shirts you want to buy, a programme, wristbands, lanyards, and you end up spending a lot more money, because you have to remember you've already bought the tickets. Transport can also cost money, and you don't want to spend even more money on top of that on merchandise. I'd try and limit yourself maybe to 1 t-shirt, some wristbands and a programme. That's what I normally do, because last year I was so tempted to buy a few more t-shirts, but I didn't, and I'm really glad I didn't. Think of it as saving money for the next concert. That's what I did, and it's worked quite well. During the actual concert, my biggest tip is have fun, because that's what you've come to do. Don't try and live the whole night through your phone, taking videos, taking photos, putting it on Snapchat, because honestly people don't care watching it on your Snapchat. They'll just click through it anyway. It's just, yeah, they see that you're at a concert. What's the big deal to them? They don't really care. If they cared enough, they'd probably be there. But try and enjoy it as much as you can, live in the moment. Of course, I'm not saying don't get any videos or photos on your phone, because you want something to post on Instagram or something and have some memories, but the real memories are what you actually see yourself rather than what everyone else sees, because there's not much point otherwise. You should be there because you want to be there, not because you want to show off about it. I also recommend to stay hydrated, because it can get very hot in concerts, especially when you're close together. If it's indoors it can get hot, if it's outdoors it's hot, because if it's summer. So make sure you've had enough to drink beforehand, and also during the concert if you can. Also, lots of the times they do take the lid off your bottle of water, so I would try, if you could, try and sneak in a bottle of water with the lid, or keep the lid somehow. If not, just be aware that you don't want to knock over the bottle of water. Some concerts they do give you out cups of water during the concert. I had this at the Vamps, and Michelle, my older sister, had this when she went to see One Direction, and this way they try and help you stay hydrated, especially in the standing areas, as it can get very crowded and hot and sweaty. And my last piece of advice is trying to meet the band or the artist. You can do this either before or after the concert, but let me warn you, it's not successful every single time. I haven't done it a million times myself. I've normally tried to do something like buying a VIP package or like winning a competition or something to guarantee you're actually going to meet them, although this does cost more money. If you're prepared to do it, it's a great way of making sure you're actually going to meet them, but you can try and meet them before or after a concert, as I have done this successfully in the past. If you want to meet them before the concert, you again want to get there quite a few hours before, because the bands or the artists have to do sound check, and there's normally more than one band or artist because there's the opening acts as well, and they'll normally come on where the car park is, so you should check, like look at the venue beforehand to know where the car park is, as it can vary from venue to venue. Again, some artists will go straight into the venue and they won't actually come to meet people, so you might only see them from afar, you might not see them at all, but this is one way of trying to see them. Second way of trying to see them is after the concert. Again, they'll be coming out where the car park is, so after the concert I'd recommend, if you're trying to do this, artists will try and leave either as quickly as they can or wait ages for everyone else to go. It depends. If you've looked ahead enough, you'll know if the artist has a concert the next day and how far away it is. If it's say London, then Edinburgh the next day, obviously they're going to be going as soon as they can because they need to travel a great distance. Again, this is not successful waiting for them afterwards because lots of people will do this. So if you want to try and get near the front of that, or try and get them if they're leaving really quickly, I would say leave during the last song, because that way you can get out before the whole rush of it. And fingers crossed you'll meet them before or after. If not at all, try again next time you go to a concert, because hopefully at least once it will happen, and when it does, it's great. But sometimes it can take a few hours of waiting. Again, if it's a late concert, you should check with your parents if they're happy with you waiting around. If you're by yourself, you should probably set yourself a limit of how long you're going to wait, because it's silly waiting hours and hours and hours if it's getting later and later, and it gets more unsafe depending on where you're actually going for the concert, such as London, probably wouldn't be that safe. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and I wish you luck if you're trying to get concert tickets. If you're going to a concert, have fun. If you're trying to meet a band, again, good luck. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!